Yo, Joe. Talking comics, here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
Alright, it's time to read some more G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. Issue number 44. Mike Zeck and John Beatty provide the cover, Lady J running from a semi. Written by Larry Hama, pencils by Rod Wiggum. Lady J is running some new Joes through a training exercise, and we get several first appearances out right away. Crankcase, Bazooka, Heavy Metal, and Airtight taking turns mentioning each other's names to introduce themselves. The new Joes dispatch the pop-up his tank targets with ease and pass the test. They are all now officially Joes. The new Joes are rolling out of the desert, but Airtight stops to pick up some scorpions and stashes them in his first aid kit. Then the Joes notice some weird joggers, and our first look at B.A.T.s, Battle Android Troopers. The B.A.T.s run right at them with canisters on their backs. As the androids are destroyed, the canisters are opened and a spore released. Vines begin sprouting out and strangling everything. The Joes and the vehicles are completely tied up. The vines grow puffballs and begin opening up and releasing a sleeping gas, taking out the Joes. We see the brains behind this operation as Destro introduces us to Dr. Brainwave, but he really means Dr. Mindbender. Mindbender organized this demonstration of his creeper bombs he hopes to sell to Cobra in his first appearance. Mindbender explains the advantages of the creeper bombs over traditional explosives. With creeper bombs, the equipment they wrap up can later be salvaged and sold. Destro and Baroness claim the first demonstration was only a success because they found the Joes for him, and they were fresh recruits. But Mindbender has another demonstration ready for them. The Joes come too, and the vines have been cleared from all their vehicles, and all their ammo is missing. They have no idea where they are or how they got here. The Joes realize they are in a maze built of junkyard cars. When we see this is Mindbender's next demonstration. A bat is driving a semi packed full of the plant spore canisters. They look the other way, and bats on motorcycles are headed their way, strapped with more canisters. Destro and Baroness look on eagerly. Lady J leads the charge, taking back the initiative. She heads straight for the bats on bikes, assuming they are programmed to not run into each other, so the safest path is right between them. The new recruits break the maze and head over the walls. Before the bat in the semi can correct his path, he collides with the bats on bikes, and they are all taken out. Destro and Baroness are not impressed so far, but Mindbender was prepared for this. We see another bat driving a minivan. Lady J heads straight for it and has no trouble popping a wheelie and driving right over the van. A his tank and a Cobra Stinger track down the other Joes and begin firing on them. Bazooka is frustrated that they are carrying around these weapons but don't have anything to fire out of them. Crankcase tells Bazooka to take the weapons off and cut weight so they can go faster. Bazooka listens, removes his gun, and tosses it at the bat, ripping his head off. The Cobra Stinger has been eliminated. The other Joes see a car crusher and head for it, hoping the his tank will follow them. Airtight jumps out to get to the controls of the car crusher. As the his tank comes around the corner, he hits the button to begin the crushing process. The his tank is crushed, but the canisters it was carrying explode, sending the sleeping gas out into the air. Baroness and Destro are beginning to get upset with Mindbender's test, but they do get his name right finally. So he loads up his overkill plan. A truck loaded with a ton of canisters, he sends the bats driving the truck out into the maze. The Joes find a giant pile of old car batteries. The Joes begin forming a plan to take back the initiative, just as Mindbender reveals a tanker truck full of his spore bomb. He claims it could take out a city. The Joes have crafted their own junkyard gas mask and have loaded batteries up in their vehicles. They turn a corner in the maze and see a biker gang of bats. The Joes drive right through the bikers and then pour battery acid on the leaking canisters, eliminating the spores. Before they can celebrate, they see the truck full of huge canisters and they don't have enough battery acid to deal with them. The truck full of canisters suddenly flies up in the air as Lady J, manning the magnet, has pulled it away from the Joes. Mindbender is still not panicking. He has another card up his sleeve. Mindbender explains he is going to unleash the tanker full of spores, and the van they are in is coated in herbicides so the vines won't touch it. This is one of the rare gijoe splash pages. We are able to see the Joes coming in and getting a good view of the entire junkyard. The Joes drive up close to the Cobra-filled van, and Airtight throws his first aid kit through their windshield, unleashing the scorpions all over the unsuspecting Cobras. The Joes sling the last of the batteries they have collected at the tanker, causing an explosion. The flames are burning the plants as fast as they can grow, but the wind is blowing the pollen towards Mindbender and Destro. Baroness comes by in the Fang and picks up Mindbender and Destro and flies them off. Lady J is impressed with the new Joes and tells them they have all passed with flying colors. And that brings us to the end of another G.I. Joe adventure. This was a quick, self-contained story that really just served as a vehicle to introduce a bunch of new characters. My favorite panel from this issue is the scorpions coming out of the first aid kit into Mindbender and Destro. Not sure why Destro was concerned. He has a metal mask covering his face. Despite this not being that deep of a story, the pacing was great, and I really liked seeing Mindbender introduced as a potential new threat to the Joes. I'm going to give this issue 4 flag points. Now, with Mindbender's creations and the B.A.T.s, the Cobra side has some new weapons to come after the Joes with. But that is issue 44. Knowing is half the battle, and now you know. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the video covering the next issue.
You've been watching a Real American Brian production in association with the letters G, I, and JOE.